It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light tonight, little flock. The kingdom of heaven. It's a wonderful place to be, right? The kingdom of heaven. It's what everybody's looking for, I'd say. The kingdom of heaven. How does one enter into the kingdom of heaven? What must one do? You know, a lot of people have asked this question. They asked it to Yahusha several times. And I want to ask you guys, what was his answer? When he would be asked that question, what was his answer that he would give? Well, we read that there was times when he would say, keep the commandments. He would also say, if a man keep my saying, you see. And people wrestle back and forth with what commandments should a man keep? And you would see that happening because a man one time asked Yahusha that. Which? You see what I'm saying, little flock? Which commandments? Which commandment should I keep? And then he clarifies, love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, everything that you have, and love your neighbor as yourself. And if you do this, then you shall be saved. You see, little flock? You shall be delivered. Well, delivered from what? If what you have going on right now is so good and so wonderful, why are you seeking to be delivered from it? If what you're experiencing is the kingdom, then why are you searching for a kingdom? Why are you looking to be saved? Why are you looking for salvation? From what? You see, little flock? What exactly? Because if a person doesn't know, then he doesn't actually know if he's delivered or not. He will think that he is, and though he's not. And if he thinks that he is and he's not, then that means that he'll die. Thinking that you're healthy, but not being healthy is not actually going to benefit you. It's not actually going to benefit you. And neither does anything that you think if you don't believe it. And by believe it, it means feel as though it's so. So then if you understood what I just told you, then now you know that the deliverance that you're seeking and the commandments that you keep, that which will deliver you, you know now what it will deliver you from. The things that are hindering you from believing the hope that you have, or in other words, the thoughts that you have for yourself. You don't have them, and you don't believe that you will have them, and that's why you don't have them. You see? But you can't be delivered from the thing that's holding you back because you don't know what's holding you back. You think it's something outside of you that's holding you back from the thought that you have for yourself. In other words, the hope that you desire, which is the kingdom of heaven, we call it. The desirable state of being that we all would want for ourselves. We don't know how to get it. That's why Yahusha said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They think that they are going to get what they're looking for when they're actually going to get the opposite of what they're looking for. Like I told you, little flock. You go to the doctor and the doctor says, okay, this is what's going on and this is what will help you. This is what will fix it. So he does a procedure and it doesn't actually fix the issue. It has happened to many people. The person goes along thinking that they're fine, just to find out later on, no, you're not fine. You got to go back and find out what went wrong. And then you go back and the doctor's like, oops. Y'all ever heard of malpractice? All right, then. You've heard of malfunction, haven't you? Well, that's what he did. He did a malfunction because he thought he was dealing with the issue, but he actually wasn't. He just thought that he was. And that's what most people are doing. And that's why few there be that find it, little flock. There's no way that you can read that and then go forth through life thinking that many people understand and many people know. That's not what the scripture says. It says only a few. And even the ones that God called, only a few of them are chosen. It's always a few. It's always just a remnant. You see that today, little flock? And so it's no surprise that the things that I'm talking about are strange to people and they've never heard it for the most part. Just like what I'm describing to you all today. If you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, then you must know where it's at. It's within you. And so if it's within you, then the things that are holding you back for the kingdom are where? Wow. But look at how the world teaches you to focus on everything outside of you. It tells you to look at everything outside of you and say, that's why I don't have what I need. This is why I'm not having the experiences that I want. And you're pointing at something outside of yourself. And they teach you and they teach you and they teach you about things like that. In other words, they're teachers of itching ears. They're just a scratch. There's just a scratch to satisfy a momentary itch. You see that there? But if you hunger and thirst after righteousness, then only one thing can fill that hunger. And what is it? Righteousness. And righteousness is right thought. So when you truly want to be healthy, then you truly will listen to the right things. What actually went wrong? Okay, let me actually find out what I actually did wrong here that caused this to happen so that I can truly fix it, because I want true healing. You see? But you live in a world that's not about true healing. It's about putting a Band-Aid over a wound. It's about painting it over to make it look better than it is. You got a black eye, you put makeup on it to make it appear like it's normal so that nobody will ask you or inquire, or you won't be embarrassed or feel ashamed. So the world teaches you how to cover things, how to make an easy way out, how to make some type of escape route for a moment. That's all it can teach you, because it's pointing you outside of your body to help you with what you got going on in it. Well, you need somebody to tell you about what's going on in it so that you can overcome what's in it, because that's where the kingdom is and not outside of you. So nothing outside of you is impeding you from it. It is your lower passions that you must overcome to even rise to the level of even taking a breath. And what do I mean? You must be born again. And when you're born, you take a big breath. Oh boy, I'm alive. You take a big old breath when you enter into a new realm. Well, so it is when you come out of your lower passions. You're born again. And when you come out of your lower passions, you're not the same man you once were. And what do I mean by your lower passions? The things that drive you to do the things that harm you. Your desires, your appetites. You must be born again and have a new appetite for a new thing. Like I described, hungering and thirsting after righteousness. No longer hungering and thirsting after things that produce death. Now, the only thing that can cause you to hunger and thirst after a thing in your appetite is depending on the body that you're in. Well, it's been made clear by the scripture that there are two. And since you're not your flesh and blood body, but you reside in the body, then that actually means that there are two minds that you choose from. And your mind that you choose determines the outcome that you get. So then why are you focusing outside of your body if that's the truth of the matter? It's because you don't believe that's the truth of the matter. It's because that requires self-accountability. It's because that requires a different type of labor. A labor that causes you to see your error. A labor that causes you to correct your complaining. A labor that causes you to correct your murmuring. A labor that causes you to correct your fear. A labor that causes you to become a loving being. A labor that causes you to no longer be wrathful and impatient. That's what's hindering you from the kingdom of heaven. Can't you see that? It's not something outside of you that hinders you from the happiness you're looking for. It's you. It's your state of being that you're in that's hindering you from having it. You have to ask believing. So if you're not in the state of the thing you desire, then you're not asking believing. You're not asking while feeling as though it is so. Like I said, being in the state as if it is. Because I am is in the present tense, not in the future. So it would do you no good to pray for something outside of where you are. like I keep telling you, it would be no good for you to pray for what was, because both of those states of being are not the state of being of the Father. So you must come back to the Father and be drawn back to the Father and rest in that state of being. Now, what state of being is I am? Future, past, or present? Present. So then how are you presently feeling within? Now, how you're presently feeling within will determine the experience that you have coming toward you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, do you see how that puts the responsibility on you and not on somebody else? That's why people deny it. Look at how they live, and then it'll tell you that what I'm telling you is true. Look at how they deal with issues that they have. What do? They pacify. They cover up, like I told you. They paint up without dealing with it at all. They just paint it over. Well, then how in the hell can you deal with the thing that I'm telling you to deal with if your work and labor you do every day is painting over stuff? Then you will never deal with it. What did Christ tell you? If you find it. Told you. I told you. A few couple of little people find that truth. Wait a minute. It's me. It's me. He said, ask believing and you shall have it. Ask anything believing and you'll have it. If I believe him, as I say with my mouth that I do, then won't I act like that's true? Won't I just simply ask believing and then let it come to me? Isn't that the truth? Now, if I don't get what I seek for, why don't I get it? The Bible told you why in Book of James. Read it. There's only two reasons why you're not getting it. You're either not getting it because you ask amiss, you don't ask right, like I told you, or you ask so that you can consume it upon your lust. See? You see what I mean? So you don't have the right internal state when you ask. That's all it's telling you. So you must have the right internal state. And the internal state that you must be in is love when you ask. Is that the intent of your heart? Because that's what Abba judges. So there's no need in asking God for something and not telling him why you're asking. Because I've told you all, and I will tell you again, the what you want and the why you want it is your labor. But the when you get it and how you get it is Abba's labor. So that frees you from when you get something and how you get it. That frees you up from trying to figure that out because that's not your duty. Only duty you have is to tell God what you want and why you want that thing. Isn't that easy to understand? Isn't it? Now, does it line up with what Christ said, or is it contrary to what Christ said? So you got to ask yourself. That way you know that I'm telling you the truth or if I'm lying. That way you know it. Is it contrary, or does it connect like a Lego? It actually connects like Legos, you see? So that means it's trustworthy what I'm saying to you. I'm telling you the truth. That's why Yahushua would always say, verily, verily, I say unto you. That means I ain't lying. I'm telling you the truth when I say these words to you. You see? And so it is with me tonight. The things that I'm telling you are the true labor that you should be doing on a daily basis. Why else die daily if that ain't your labor? Is taking the things in you that need to be dead and making them dead. Or as the scripture says, mortify the deeds of the body. Look how it connecting like Legos. So like I said, you know I'm trustworthy. And I am. Isn't he? Well, yeah, I am is trustworthy. See how you can rest up in there and reap the benefits if you will have it be so? Yahushua said, follow me. He also said he's one with the Father. So then where is he telling you to follow him to? Could it be the kingdom of heaven? Could it be the throne room where the Father is? Well, it says, let us boldly approach. So the only way we could approach is through the mediator. His blood makes it available to us to approach. And so let's put his blood on and boldly walk up there. That's what he said. He didn't say cowardly walk up. He didn't say in doubt walk up or fearfully stepping up with your head crouching on down and everything because you're too scared to look. No, boldly walk up there. I need this because this. And if your motive is love, then you're going to have it every single time. It's just that simple. But if you're looking to consume it upon the lower passions that I told you, you must overcome to even come up here and talk to me. And that's just the way that it is. Your lower passions, the scripture says, not somebody else's. It didn't say you got to overcome somebody else's damn tripping out. That ain't what's going on. It's not what's going on. It's your tripping out. That's what need to be overcome. You see? The world, the Gentiles. Do you understand what I'm doing? Why I'm pointing at my chest and everything, my body like that? Because that's the nations, and that's where the Gentiles be at. But you reside up here in Zion and in Jerusalem, the northern and southern kingdom of Israel. You see? And those two are one. Your thought and your feeling have become one. You're no longer in that old world. You've overcome it now. And it was all inside of you. You dwelt in an old world. And let me tell you the way the old world was run. It was run by a nasty, stinking, hoe-ass bitch floating on some waters. All right, then, many waters is what it says. Now, what does that mean, little flockulators? Do you know? Okay, I said it in modern day terms. A whore sitting upon many waters. Is that better and clean enough for you all? Still says whore. Ho, whore, whatever you want to say it. That's who is teaching you. Now, why is she sitting on a whole bunch of waters? Because that mean your emotions. Your emotions. Where do you think wrath and anger and all that shit come from? Malice and bitterness and strife and seditions and variance and all that shit. Where do you think it come from? It come from emotional ass people. Like you see, when you see like those so-called street preachers and they go to like those pride conventions or whatever the hell you want to call them, pride parades, and they're trying to preach on the microphone. And what do you see all the little pride babies doing? They run up there screaming at the guy preaching. They run grabbing the microphone out of his hand, trying to snatch it away. They pour coffee on his head and throw their water bottle at him. They cuss at him and scream and tell him to get the fuck out of there. Why are you even here? So in other words, they're highly emotional. See? Can't you tell that they are? They go based off of how they feel. And the reason why that deceives them is because their feelings will change. Feelings never stay the same. They always change. So then there's no need in believing a feeling and trying to build your house on it, because your house will shift because it's built on sand. See, you didn't build it on what Yahusha said. In other words, you didn't build it on the truth. So therefore, it's on some shifting sand. And so you're this one day, and then it goes 10 years later. Now you're that. Then it goes 2 more years. Then you're this now. And then you're flip-flopping back and forth. And you don't know who you are. And you don't know what you are. Just like them emotional ass pride babies I told you all about. Because they're sitting on many waters being ruled by a whore. See? You see it? That's why when you do something, you must do it in love. Including when you make babies, guys. Most people fulfill that upon their lust, don't they? They fulfill their sexual appetite upon their lust. Well, if that's the intent of your heart and why you were asking for it, then when you produce that child, what is that child going to be? Well, what were you making? I know you said I'm making love, but you and that woman are not making love. Y'all are hiding. Y'all are scared that somebody's going to see you. Y'all are hiding the fact that you're even doing this. Y'all, if somebody flashed a flashlight on you right now, you'd be heart beating and adrenaline rushing through you, proving your fear state that you're in, which is actually what's got you so intoxicated, is this invigorating fear pulsing through your veins called adrenaline, got you tripped out thinking that something's good's happened. Oh, wow, how exhilarating. We might get caught doing this. Well, now you done got her pregnant. So then what do you think that child is? What produced the child? Well, let's see. Sneakiness, deceit, denial, lying. Did you understand what I'm telling you? And then when the results of that are shown on the earth, everybody freaks out, doesn't understand why. Oh, man, this world's gone to shit. Well, why do you think it is? When you're laying down producing children that are results of lies, then what do you think you're going to have? A lie. That's what you're going to have. You reap what you sow. You planted the seed, and how did you sow? Because the scripture says, if you sow in tears, you shall reap in joy. So then, in other words, what I'm telling you is that you can sow with an intention. What did you sow? And what intention did you have when you sowed it? I don't want to have a child. And so you did. So then what kind of child is that? A child that grows up that says, I don't want to be. I don't want to live. See? I don't know what's wrong with my kid. I don't know why they're so addicted to drugs and everything. Well, when you and his mother laid down to have that drug-induced fuck fest you had the other damn years ago, that produced this child that you see that can't control his sexual appetite. He's addicted to every drug in the damn world. He's killing himself. He'll probably die before you, parent. And you see it happening all around you guys, and you don't know why. It's because you all lie. That's why everything that you do, your intent of your heart is funky when you do it. But if it were clear and your conscience were clear when you did the thing that you did, then you have a child who grew up that was pure and true, because he was made in truth and love. That's what you do when you lay down with a woman that you truly love. You don't have fear when you pump that seed into her body. So that child grows up to be a love child and not a fear child, because there's only two. Hagar and Sarah told you guys that. One gendereth to bondage, which is Sinai, which is Hagar, but one is the child, the mother of the free, which is the mother of us. See? So there were some children conceived in true love when they were conceived in their mother's womb. Those are the children of God. See? Truth and love. But some other enemy came and sowed some tares among those children of God. See? And those are called children of vanity. And aren't they? Sad to say, we're all suffering because of the vanity that we've all been living in. The lives of vanity that we all led. The crops have grown up, and now it's time to harvest that shit. And a bunch of tares popped up in your life. A sad harvest. Not reaping in joy now, are you? Hell no. Because you sowed in deceit. You sowed in sneakiness. You sowed in lies. You sowed in trickery. So then what the hell you think you're going to get? You're going to get a harvest of trickery. Yep, it looks like a bunch of weed is out there. But when you got out there, you realize it was all tares. They're going to piss you off. They're going to make you mad. They're going to make you feel like you labored in vain. Well, what does the Bible say you niggas out there in the world is doing? You're laboring in vain. So you're not doing the labor the grandson telling you to do. And I told you all earlier what that is to do. Overcoming your lower passions and desires and appetites for wickedness. If you don't overcome that, you can never enter into the heart of your own body. And it will never become circumcised and open. But what is Abba constantly calling out to his children to do? You guys act like it's something else outside of your body asking you to do. He ain't. What he's asking you to do is rend your hearts. Can you understand what I'm telling you all today? Are you too stupid to understand what it means to tear your heart open? You too dumb to know what that means? Huh? You fucking retarded or something? Of course not, grandson. Why you gotta drill it all in and talk like that? Because I want to provoke you niggas. That's why. Well, why would you want to provoke? I mean, isn't that wicked to do that? Are you too dumb to understand that Abba wants your heart rent, and he wants a circumcised heart, and a true Jew is one of the heart? That's 3 proofs to prove one thing that I'm saying to you, and all you got to do is talk about how I'm saying it. Maybe how I'm saying it is coming because you niggas ain't doing what was said. Ain't that how it goes in daddy's house? He tell you to do something, you don't do it. He says, okay, try it, do it again. Do it again. And the child still doesn't do it. And the dad says, okay, I told you twice. 3 strikes and you're out, bud. This is the last time I'm telling you. Do this shit and get it done. You see how the heat is growing and growing? Now, if you still don't do it, how you think he's going to come that time? He's still going to come saying, okay, son, look here, man. No, I asked you a couple times already, dude. Why don't you meet me halfway or something? No, he already did that. He ain't about to do that no more. What he about to do now is tear into your ass because your niggas don't want to listen to what he telling you to do. That's how it goes, isn't it? So then why are y'all all surprised that the heat eventually is going to get turned up like that? Why are y'all so surprised when it actually happens? Oh, cuss, grandson, we never heard anybody like you before. That should tell you the time you're living in then. That should tell you the time you're in. That it's time to put away all of your vanity. It's time to put away the things that don't profit you to do on a daily basis. Make that shit secondary. The thing that's most important is what you're doing internally. Is your heart rent? Well, the only way it is rent is it had to be opened up. And the only way it got opened up is somebody went there and opened it. If you went there and opened it, then that means you're still stuck in your lower passions. You're still stuck down in the yellow. You're still stuck down in the orange, and you're stuck in the red. And you can't come out of there because you're too damn scared. You're too lust-filled. You're too much of a fornicator. You're too much of a drunkard. You're too much of a damn overindulger. You're too much of a nigga that lives in lasciviousness and lust. You're too much of a talebearer and a liar. That's why. All of that I described to you comes out of those lower chakras of your body. That's where it comes from. And the reason why you can't get to your heart is because you're stuck down there in those lower passions like I described. Now, if there aren't no lower passions, how come the Bible said that you need to overcome them? Because there is some. And I'm telling you what they is. Yeah, I love you. But you're still harboring wickedness in your heart. So then your heart isn't circumcised. The head of your penis is covered in muck and dirt, but you can't see it because your foreskin's covering it. So you think it's clean. Now, hear what I just described to you? You hear how raunchy and vulgar that may sound to some people? But consider how true it is what I'm saying. Yahusha said, you guys clean the outside, but the inside is filthy. He also said, they are like whited sepulchre, which indeed appear outwardly beautiful unto men, but inside, see? So in other words, your penis looks clean, but when we pull the foreskin back, we see all kinds of goblins and bats and ghouls and spider webs and snakes slithering around up in there. You hear what I'm saying to you? So open it so it can get clean. Open it so it can get clean. That's the only valuable labor you can do, because the Bible says everything a man do under the sun is vanity. So then you did something under the sun today? Did you? Well, it was a waste of time to do it. Now, back to what I'm saying. So what can you do that ain't vanity? What can you do? Fear God and keep his commandments. So then how can you keep his commandments if your heart is locked up? Well, many people try to. See? Many people try, just like Saul tried. But he had to be converted and his heart had to be circumcised, and he had to see the error of his damn way instead of always looking at the errors of another's way. Isn't that what Paul was doing? Well, he said he persecuted the church, which means you walked around looking at people that said they serve Yahusha, and you're testing them to see if they really do, and you're critiquing them to see if they're really clean. But meanwhile, look at your penis. Shit, Saul. Shit, man. Yahusha made it clear, man. You got to get the beam out of your own eye so that you can see clear enough to get a speck out of your neighbors. But no, you guys are too busy looking at a speck, feeling so good when y'all see a speck in somebody's eye, because all that does is make you feel good about the speck in yours. It doesn't actually make you clean it. You feel comfortable with the shit in your eye when you see other people have shit in theirs. That's crazy as hell, dumb and lazy as fuck to me to think like that. That is the way a sloth is. Sloth is one of the 7 deadly sins, by the way. You go to school, you woke up that morning, you didn't wash your face or anything. You got a big ass gunk rock in the corner of your eye. You know that crusty shit that gets in the corner of your eye when you've been asleep? And you go to school and you got the crusty shit all in your eye, the gorp on the side of your mouth where you were drooling, where it then dried up and got white now. You got the shit all up in your face and you go to school. And then you look around and everybody else has that same shit on their face. So you didn't clean yours. You just looked at somebody who had some on theirs and go, man, look at your face. Your shit dirty as hell. But you got on a pair of sunglasses. You got on a skull cap with just the eyes out. But the sunglasses is even covering that. So nobody can actually see your face, even though you got the gunk and everything on your shit too. You're just pointing at everybody else's face. Look at your shit. Nigga, you didn't wash your face, but you came to school. But eventually the master's going to come in and say, take that hat and them sunglasses off of my classroom. And the moment you finally break down and pull your hat and glasses off, or you refuse to, and he has to do it, either way, it's getting yanked off of your dumb ass. And when it gets yanked off, guess what kind of embarrassment, shame, and laughing that's going to come when they all laugh at your dumb ass because you're more gunked up, nasty, and got more gunk around your shit than they did. That's what's going to happen to every last one of you if you don't get the gunk out of your own shit. You're all going to be embarrassed sitting in class when your hat gets pulled off. All of you are going to be. And it was because you didn't take your time to wake up and say, let me wash my face. Let me wash my face. Shit. And then when I go to school and somebody says, hey, man, why is your face so clean? I can just simply say, well, let me show you what I did. And that's what I'm telling you guys. I'm showing you what I did. I washed the inside of the cup, nigga. Why wouldn't I? He said to. He said everybody else ain't. I don't want to be like everybody else. Everybody else is going to hell. I don't want to go to hell. Shit, what the hell are you talking about? I don't want to go on the wide path that leads to destruction just because everybody else is going that way. I'm going on the narrow path. And so he said, clean the inside. He didn't just say they clean the outside, and that's the end of the story. And I don't like that they do that. So I'm going to condemn them for doing that, and that's it. That's not what happened. He said that's what they do, but I want you to know what you need to do. You need to clean the inside, because if you clean the inside, then the out also will be. So then if you have the right kind of heart when you woke up in the morning and you looked in the mirror, the right heart says, let me look at me. Fuck John's gunk in his eye. That doesn't do anything to stop my embarrassment. Do it. But that's all you niggas think about. That's all y'all niggas consider. Yeah, look at that nigga falling short. Ha! Yes, that's gonna make me look like I'm not. No, it doesn't. When your hat gets pulled off, you still fell short. Look at your shit. Oh, but I didn't think anybody saw I had my mask and glasses on. But that's only temporary, as you can see. That only worked until the master came in and told you to take it off, didn't it? Yeah. So then why did you even do that? Now let's go back to when you woke up that morning. See what I'm telling you, niggas? You can't fool the grandson of right thought. I don't judge like man judges. Men get fooled because they judge that way. I go the narrow path and I do what he says. He says judge the intent of the heart and the reins. So I'm going to go back to when you woke up that morning. Why did you put that fucking hat on? See how the dad is? That's how the dad is. Why'd you put your hat on, son? Beep, 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 beep. You better stop before I go and get Wile E. Coyote to throw one of those Acme bombs at your dumb ass, Roadrunner. Stop with the beep beep shit. Why did you put the hat on? I already know why. I just want to see if you're willing to be honest. See the already I know why part? It's the same thing the grandson do with you niggas. I know why you do everything that you do. That's the beauty of doing the work that you do that I'm telling you to do. It allows you to see everybody else. He said you could, but you had a beam keeping you from it. But if you do the work I'm telling you to do, will you have a beam? No. So then you'll be able to see clear enough to do what? To get anything that anybody else has on them out. That's what he said. So then don't start critiquing another nigga until you're clean. So now, son, why did you put the hat on? Tell me again. Because I was covered in gunk. Okay. Why didn't you just wash it? I didn't feel like it. That's called sloth. That's a deadly sin. Being like that will cause you to kill yourself and die, son. It's not about this mask and why you put it on. It's about doing that with everything in life. You're going to do that with everything. And that's not going to benefit you to be filthy, but paint it up as though you're clean. It actually is beneficial to just wash your face, son, to not be lazy, to do what's necessary to make yourself right. That way, when you stand before your peers and you're clean, then you're blameless. You see that? And now you can tell your brother correctly what he needs to do to have his face looking like your face looks. But when you put those glasses on so you could cover what was on your face, and you put that thing on your face, you did that to disguise yourself so you could become an accuser to men and hide your own dirtiness. And to me, that's wicked, son. What would you say? What would you say if anybody you knew that said that they were trustworthy did that to you? They hid their own dirtiness, but they only wanted to point out yours. Look at the people in this world, and you tell me they're not like that. A bunch of Bebe's kids. Bebe is that hoe sitting on them waters called emotions. And that's why you niggas are so emotional. You're only emotional when you don't have a right thought to calm your emotions. That's why Yahusha was on the boat. And that's why it calmed, because he was on the boat. Otherwise, it would not have calmed. That's the same thing with your life. When you don't have a man in your house of right thought, then your house will be swayed and thrown about with the waves of the sea. And that's why it didn't say there's a man sitting on those waters. That's why it said there's a whore sitting there, a woman. That's why it says that. Told you guys. When your feelings are dysregulated or irregulated, whatever word you want to call it, when your feelings are in disarray, you need a man to come in and say, peace be still. Let me tell you the truth. You're scared. You're going to get mad at me for telling you you're scared, by the way. So then I'll sit here and wait until you're not mad, and then we can continue this conversation. Oh shit! Yeah, I mean, I am mad that he's telling me I'm scared. Well, how does he know that? Well, read your Bible. Well, that woman said to Christ, that woman, that's sitting by the well, which means a woman with the emotions. That's what it means. That's why they're there, and that's why Yahusha showed up there. And he said to that woman everything she had ever done, and that she was not even living with her husband. So she didn't have no man to calm those feelings she was feeling. You see it? Same thing that Martha was doing when she was running around that house, working all damn day outside of her body. But Mary was sitting at the feet of Yahusha, learning about what to do inside of her body. Now, which one of those two choices was the good one? Yahusha made it clear. He said, Martha, 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 you are much cumbered about with much labor. See, you're burdened down with working and working and working. But Mary hath chosen that good part. So then you guys ain't got to tell me. I let him tell me any damn way. I just ask you to see if you're going to tell me what he said. And I don't give a damn what you said. What you said is a lie. But what he said is true. So then you might as well say what he said. Or I'm just going to point out that you're lying. Shit. That's all I'm going to do. See what I'm saying to you? So when you can see the wickedness within yourself, then you know that that other person also has it. I don't care if they try to act like they don't. I know you do. Shit. I know you have it. Because there's no temptation that's uncommon. The Bible making that clear. It say temptation is common to all men. All men didn't endure it. So it ain't no need in acting like they ain't. So then what the hell, when you want to get angry, I know why you do. That's why I don't judge you for it. I just tell you, you don't have to. See? Like Yahusha did. I don't judge you. I just tell you, you don't have to do it that way. You're only doing it that way because you're afraid. And when I tell you you're afraid, you're going to want to kill me for saying that too. Because killing me doesn't mean you're actually picking up a stone and throwing it at me. Killing me means you're hating me in your heart. You're hating me secretly. Inside yourself, while I'm talking to you, your bitterness and rage is inside of your body. You need to deal with that, nigga. I'm here to show you it's there. That's why I mean about provoking. Can you understand that or not? Shit, is that too hard to understand or what? It's very easy if you ask me. It's very easy. That's why I provoke the way that I do. I want to show you what's in there because I can't provoke what's not there, guys. I can't bring out something that's not in your body. How the fuck can you go to a surgeon and say, I want you to take this cancer out, and yet there's no cancer in your body? He's going to say, well, there isn't anything to take out. So what do you want me to do here? What do you want me to do? Give you cancer so that I can remove it? Well, the same thing goes for you. If there isn't any cancer in you, then guess what? There's nothing to be pulled out. But when I talk to you and you get nasty and angry and malicious and hating me in your heart and all vindictive and mad because I tell you the truth, well, then that means that what's going on here? I'm pulling it up out of there. That means it's there. See? So don't get mad at me for telling you it's there, even though I know that you will. I'm also telling you not to, even though I know you will. Shit, it's just like Yahushua when he told you things. He said, marvel not if they hate you, but there are times when you just do, aren't there? You're like, yeah, all right then. So he has to keep reminding you. Same thing I got to keep doing. Because I'm only going to remind you of what he told you. And he told you that that's what I do, so that's what I'm doing. Can't y'all understand how simple this is to understand? So he said, come to me, all of you who are heavy laden. See, working all hard, who labor. You're working and working, come to me, I'll give you rest for your soul. And your soul is internal. So I'll show you how to rest in there. I'll show you how to have peace in there. So that the storm on the outside will be calm. So that the outside will be clean also. I'll show you how to clean the inside. So my advice to you and my counsel to you is to clean the inside of the cup. So that you can ascend to the higher realms and overcome the lower passions that have held you down and held you in bondage. Because that's what it is, not somebody outside of you. It's your lower passions that caused you to be tempted. And man is only sins when he's tempted of his own lust, not somebody else's. Siloma Misaraila.